is the second chamber. So first, so we've got the crop, and now then you've got the first chamber where it's got those acids starting to break it down, and then it's going to shift into the second chamber, which is also called the gizzard. Its main function is to grind and digest tough food. So they're strong muscles, but it needs more. Grain-eating birds pick up grit and small rocks as they peck seeds from the ground. The gizzard grinds the particles against the seeds, acts like our molders. So that in the gizzard with those little rocks, it's going to help break down so it's easier to get the nutrients out of it and digest it. So you can see how if you just take down a fish, it's a quicker move for that mouse. Beyond the stomach. So like us, nutrients are then absorbed in the intestines, and what waste is excreted. So intestines are short in birds, and then in birds which eat easily absorbed food like fruit, flesh, and insects. But the intestine is going to be longer in birds that eat seeds and plants and fish. So shorter fruit, flesh, and insects, and longer with seeds, plants, and fish. I wonder if it's the scales that slows that one down. So the excretory system, I had examples all over my car this morning. I've got a lot of migratory birds that are coming through, and I'm always thrilled, and it's like, yeah, just use my charger that one, I'm fine. So those nutrients are absorbed in the small intestine. The residue passes through where bacteria helps break down the undigested food. Food moves to the large intestine, which absorbs water and dries out indigestible food. The remaining residue passes through the cloaca, where urine mixes with waste. Both exit at the external opening of the cloaca.
So they have no bladder.
So they have what?
They don't have a bladder.
Right.
That's
And
why birds just go wherever they go. They're not storing it. It's too heavy. They add weight and try to be lightweight to fly.
right. Do you imagine migrating and it's like, oh, so I got to pull over. But it's true. You have one less appendage that's, besides just the actual organ that's going to weigh you down, it's going to be filled. And so this way, whatever's being digested just follows the route right out your body. Yeah?
When birds regurgitate food to feed their young, is it coming just from the crop, or is it coming all the way down from these two stomach chambers?
That's a great question. Let's think about that. So I would think, pardon me?
On animal shows, they always talk about it being partially digested.
I would think it would need to be, because in the crop, they just put it in there for storage, and it's just being mixed with fluid to make it easier to go to the next first chamber. So I would say it would have to at least have been processed in the first chamber. But that's again, a wonderful thing to look up, because it's got to be partially digested in order for the baby to process it at all.
In our reading, it was talking about, I think some of the birds produce something milk, and I think that came from the crop.
Crop milk. Yeah, I heard of that, yeah.
But the food, you think, comes...
So maybe, and it could, this is something I don't know. And it might be different birds, also depending on the diet. There's going to be different ways of feeding the young. So I always tell the kids in class every day at lunch, I go back and look something up that they've asked, because it's just, there's no end, which I love. Yeah.
If birds don't have a bladder, I wonder if they have kidneys, and if they don't, then how do they clean their circulatory system?
They pardon?
According to our notes, they have kidneys,
Okay.
because that's where the
sperm in the males?
All right, let's see if we can find more information. All right, so respiratory system. So they have a complex respiratory system of continuous moving streams of air. I still am trying to wrap my brain around how this is possible. You know, humans think we're all that. Yeah, right. So air enters through paired nostrils at the base of the beak, right there. And it goes down the trachea, past the syrinx or song box, enters into primary bronchi to the lungs, 75% bypasses the lungs. I don't know any of this, so I'm just reading, and flows directly into the posterior air sacs. Those air sacs connect with air spaces and bones, filling the hollow bones with air. Is that so cool? Wow. When a bird exhales, the carbon dioxide rich air from the lungs, oxygen rich air is forced out of the posterior air sacs into lungs via small air tubes. So they draw air through those nares and then into the air sacs and lungs, and this is this highly efficient exchange of oxygen and waste gases that are happening, like it's just this continual movement. Air is exhaled through the final set of air sacs into the bronchi and then out of the nares. And I wish I knew more about this, so this is definitely, please feel free to investigate. So they have a 4-chambered heart, complete separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. The right ventricle pumps blood to the lungs. The left pumps blood to the rest of the body. Most birds have a rapid heartbeat compared to other vertebrates. For example, hummingbirds, 600 times a minute. So bird hearts are larger than all other vertebrates of a similar size. They can actually be double the size of a mammal that's of a similar size. Hummingbirds have the quote-unquote largest hearts because hovering takes so much energy. Largest hearted birds, big hearted birds, include the strongest flyers, the deepest divers, and species that live at high altitudes or in cold climates. That 4-chambered heart, the birds can fully drain their ventricles, increasing blood flow. But high blood pressure makes them susceptible to heart failure during high stress. Probably, you know, I think about when you're studying them and they put up mist nets and just that, you know, the biologists are right there, but just that stress of being netting. I wonder how many don't make it. Nervous system. All right. Birds have large brains relative to their size, so some brains are more, yes?
I just wondered, because I'm trying to remember, humans, I thought that the atria sends it to the lungs and the ventricle sends it to the body. So what do the other, no, I'm not remembering that. It's the same? Oh, never mind.
No, please, no, good. I was like, oh, thank God someone
Because
said
what is the
nothing.
atria?
Take it to the lungs and.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll just have to read some. Oh, okay.
Good. Big brains. So when someone, if someone calls you a bird brain, say thank you. The cerebellum controls complex behavior patterns such as navigation, mating, and nest building. The optic lobe receives and interprets visual stimuli. You can certainly see how those female bird paradises' optic lobes are receiving that ballerina bird. Keen vision is necessary for taking off, landing, spotting landmarks, hunting, and feeding. And they also have very good color vision. We know hummingbirds do. Birds' large eyes are located near the sides of the head, giving a bird a wide field of vision. I know, okay, we have nice feet up here, and I don't know if you had time to look, but later on, there's wonderful examples of some of the skulls, so you can see how the orbitals are on the side of the head for certain birds. Let's see. And then other birds that need the binocular vision for hunting and depth perception are going to have their eyes forward facing. Hearing's important in nocturnal species that rely on sounds to help them locate prey. Birds lack an external ear, have it just get in the way of flight and not be aerodynamic and could be injured. Sense of smell can vary depending on olfactory receptor genes. What is it, vultures and such, they have a very special sense of smell, I'm sure. Sense of taste helps birds avoid bitter tasting or toxic foods. So in the bird's ear, that internal ear, it has 3 chambers, much like ours. Birds localize sound by using their entire head and using it like an outer ear. And researchers have found that sounds hit the eardrums on the left and right side of the bird's head at different frequencies.
Wow.
The bird processes the difference in frequency between the ears to determine where the sound originated in relation to the bird's eye level. And I know this morning I had some nice migratory birds in the backyard, and that's a familiar song, but I'm trying to locate it, and of course, if I had that, I'm sure I would have found it much faster than I did. Reproductive. Male bird sperm, of course, is produced in 2 testes that lie beneath those kidneys. So sperm passes through small tubes called the vasa differentia into the male's cloaca, and during the mating, the male presses his cloaca to the female and releases sperm, which we all have heard as the cloacal kiss. It's just that very thin, and it's over. Female single ovary releases eggs into a long funnel-shaped oviduct where they are fertilized by the sperm. So fertilized eggs move down the oviduct where they receive protective covering and the shell. Unfertilized egg consists of a nucleus, cytoplasm, and a yolk. And when fertilized, the embryo is suspended in albumin, the egg white. The liquid medium is supported by rope-like strands of material called, this is one of those, it's chelaza. It's I think the pronunciation, chelaza, which are attached to the shell membrane. And the female has a shell gland that secretes a protective calcium carbonate shell to surround the egg.
Doesn't that happen as she lays the egg? I mean, certainly she's not carrying around.
No, again, I'm not sure the process, but it would make a lot of sense that if a lot of this is going to be happening on the outside because you're at risk with the time that's going to be in the body. Yes?
Is the chelaza that little thin membrane when we boil an egg that's is that it?
Yeah, it must be, yes. So, incubation and development. A female bird usually lays eggs in a nest. One or both parents will incubate or warm the eggs by sitting on them. Of course, you've all seen where like penguins will have the egg on top of their feet, and then all their warm downy feathers are keeping the egg warm from the body and keeping it off the ground. They cover them with a thick featherless patch which is called the brood patch. So the egg is right against the heat of the parent's body. In penguins, yes, of course, the male emperor heats the egg by placing it on his webbed feet. Embryo development begins when the zygote forms a plate of cells on the surface of the yolk. This plate begins to form the tissues and organs. The membrane produces digestive enzymes. You can all read, up close, an egg tooth is always interesting to watch them actually crack through. But I think we've all in school studied the different process of the embryonic development. Birds have two contrasting methods for rearing young. Those that lay many eggs and incubate them for long periods hatch precocial young. And these birds are active as soon as they hatch. They can walk, swim, and feed themselves. And for example, ducks and quail. And birds that lay only a few eggs and hatch quickly produce altricial young. That depends on both parents for several weeks, like woodpeckers, hawks, pigeons, and rabbits.
Is there
yeah.
it seems like of all the I guess, what kingdoms, what is it, different birds have the widest range of intelligence. Like a turkey can drown itself in 2 inches of water, but a crow can like figure out complex puzzles. Is there any relation to whether they're precocial or atricial? Is that how you say it?
Altricial, yeah. And that's a great question. I don't know the answer, but when you think of corvids, which include the crow, the raven, the jays, and that they have the highest level of intelligence, those are all altricial young. So so that, just off the top of my head, it seems like altricial with the longer parental care, it's so dangerous for a young one to be that helpless, and yet you've got a parent for this long period of development, so maybe it does indeed help with brain development. What do they say? Read, sing, talk to your kids. I don't think. But that's a fantastic question. But again, now I've got more to look up. Okay. Here is my behaviors. Okay, so long periods of parental care may enable birds to learn such complex behaviors as courtship, nesting, and migration. Well, there you go. Young birds need protection until they develop the strength to fly and obtain food. And you see, of course, again, on all these wonderful shows, nature, have the importance of the parent in the getting that young one to finally leave the nest, and whether it's a wood duck that's way up in a tree and it has to take that first flight onto the downy, the nice soft duck of the forest, and they're all like flailing, or you see them practicing up in the nest, and they're so ready to go, and it's so beautiful to watch. Just a moment. Anyone want to see a baby red-tailed hawk?
Sure.
I just got one right here. Let's see, we're going to figure this out.